Right. I'd like to formally welcome all of you, those who are in attendance to the Bendel Federation meeting. And part of the main objective for this meeting is for us to develop, think through developing content for Bendel television, which I have sent out. There's a number of themes that we can look at. But before we start that, for those of us who are present at the meeting, can we just briefly introduce ourselves, who we are, where we are, so that we get to know ourselves a little bit more? Like I said, I'm Dr. Charles Omorodion. I'm based in the United Kingdom. Can we take it one at a time? Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Chief Areki, and I live in Ukraine. United Kingdom.
I was going to say the federal government should go evacuate you now straight away. Okay, next person, please. No.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Victor from Edo State, sir. Nigeria.
You're welcome to the platform. Right, where we are at the moment, as part of aims and objectives, as you know, Bendel Federation is penetration was set up a couple of years back now, and to work towards the political and economic union of penetration.
I think Techno is trying to speak, Doctor. Techno POP is trying to.
And data. Pardon?
Techno POP, I think is trying to say something.
All right, okay. Techno, please. Right, like I said, we're trying to develop content for the Bendel TV station. At the moment, the TV station is going to be online first, and we'll gradually see as time goes on how we can roll it out to become a terrestrial TV station. So we're using different online platforms, which include YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and all the other TV programs, all the other online platforms. We want to be able to capture the essence of our audience, our target audience, which means we need to be able to develop content that is different from other competitors out there. My idea originally is to see whether we can focus on youth development. Anything that we'll be able to do that would be fantastic. I'm also keen to see how we can get buy-in into our ideas. For example, we want to involve the various traditional institutions and rulers between Edo State and Delta State. As far as I know, we have about 25 recognized traditional about 56 recognized traditional rulers in Delta State, and about the same in Edo State. I've got their names. I've got for Delta State, most of them I've got their names. I've got the names of their localities, but what I'm struggling with at the moment is their telephone numbers. About a week ago, I was fortunate to meet a traditional ruler from Delta State. I think is the OV of Agbaroto, a young man who is very happy and has promised that he will help us open doors as far as Delta State is concerned. I also have a database of kings in Delta State with their telephone numbers. That database, I was only able to access the first few pages. The other pages, the numbers are there, they're very faint, so I really can't get through to it. I think it is important for us to be able to establish links with these traditional rulers, because we need to network with them, and because they're going to be there longer than the politicians, I think we stand a better chance of fomenting a relationship with them, so that we can get them to buy into our vision, or we can at least promote our vision to them. You cannot propose to be representing a group of people when they don't know what you are on about. So those are some of the things that we're trying to do. My discussion with the OV of Agbaroto was centered on how we can work with traditional institutions in both states to bring about rural, well, I did mention urban and rural economic regeneration, well, with a particular emphasis on rural economic regeneration. And I also know with my previous discussion with Victor, he is also keen that we start a process of engaging the traditional rulers by interviewing them or going to talk to them, and we can then platform them on our media space, and which he started to do in Edo State. I think he has met one or two. Now, the essence of today was for us to get to know each other and to see how we can key into these sort of programs and to rub mind and bounce off ideas, which will enable us to actualize our goals. I know it's tough, but it's something that we can do quite rightly. We have an office where there was supposed to be an office open by now at Igun in Benin, but there's still some negotiation going on between me and the property owner. That's why I've not been able to station the television there, so that somebody like Victor, who is the liaison person between Edo and Delta State on ground, would be able to help. By the way, Victor is from, I think it's from Isoko in Delta State, although he's based in Edo. So my view, therefore, the purpose of calling this meeting is going to be pretty brief, because I expected more people to join us, but for now it looks as if it's just 3 of us. Is for us to rub mind on what we need to do to get this program off the ground, so that we can start to have some sort of media visibility. And people can then start to understand what we do, what differentiates us from other groups out there, and what we're trying to achieve, what our aims are, what our objectives are, and the action plans that we put in place to be able to achieve these aims and objectives. For a start, I'm currently working with a group of people to see how we can provide some sort of capacity development for what I termed as the rising generation, preparing them for leadership position and preparing them to be able to rise up to the challenge in Nigeria, particularly given the fact that the young people or the youths have been complaining for quite some time now that our political system is geared more towards the elderly at their expense. I'll let anybody who wants to talk to chip in at this stage, so that, but I'm hoping that this meeting will wrap it up within the next, it was supposed to be not more than 1 hour, within the next 30 minutes. Depends on the salient point that we're able to address.
Right, Doctor, thank you very much for giving us a brief on the objective, the mission, and the vision of Bendel Television. I'm not going to look at problems yet, but let us focus on creating a system. I think it's not time yet to be liaising with traditional rulers and that institution, because what that tends to do to our population is to isolate other groups, the youths, the young men, the leaders of tomorrow, people who should be taking over from us. But if we created a system, and then in the course of the design of the system, we plug in, we think deep, very deep, all the what ifs, no, not what ifs, all the what else, the what else, the what else, the what else, pull all of them out. Then we should be able to have a space for all demographies, for all age groups, the elderly, from the elderly to the
Hello, Dr. Moroja. Good evening.
Oh, good evening. You're welcome to the platform.
Thank you. It's Mrs. Martina Johnson speaking from Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mrs. Martina. I was actually on the floor before you interrupted with your greeting. You are very welcome.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's okay. Don't be sorry. It's just having a laugh.
Okay.
So, Doctor, I was saying, if we focus on creating the system first, and then drill and dig deep, we drill down to the details, then we will be able to create this system called Bendel television without having to, pally around traditional rulers or pally around politicians or pally around people, because it's a system that should be there for all. What we need to do. I know you've said, for now we'll use platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube is very good. That's a good starting point, because they've created a platform for anyone to use.
That's correct.
Yeah. So we could develop this. Look at it critically. All the bolts and nuts that we need to get Bendel television running. Without having to, lick anybody's boots. There'll be a space for all. Politicians, traditional rulers, businessmen, youngsters, university students, primary school students, secondary, everyone, So we should think more of all demography rather than focusing on traditional ruler. They will navigate us out of the objectives and the ideologies, So let's create the system first, and we plug them in as we go around them, rather than then pulling the plugs, So that's what I think for now. If anything crops up, I would, by all means, chip in. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks for those views. Any other views?
Hello?
Yeah, Martina. Yeah, madam.
The youth are very, very important. And in trying to bring up, hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you loud and clear.
In trying to bring up the youth, let us focus in skill acquisition. Let us focus in training the youth, because they are the leaders of tomorrow. And if the youth are not properly guided, that is where you see kidnapping. As I wrote this afternoon, that is where you see the killing. That is where you see all the manner of armed robbery, like the one that took place yesterday. The Bendelites, we are people with good instincts. We are people with good background. We are people with good culture. We reason and right. And it will take a lot to push this project through. And Dr. Please, I want you to put the right people in place, because this is a very big project for you. And I know God is going to help you. And that we should go out there to fetch out the youth. We have to stop all this killing. We have to stop the youth from being used as thugs. And after using them, you see the politician dumps them. And that gun is not taken away from them. That is why you see all the kidnapping. That is why you see all the killings. That is why they are not going to stop. Because after the election, they are abandoned. They are not, the politicians no longer care about them again. They are loosed. So they get back into the society and become a problem to the society. Please, doctor, we need to talk to these youths. We need time. We need to talk. We need seminars. Thank you very much.
All right, pleasure. Okay. Point
Thank
taken.
you,
So
sir.
you've talked about focusing on the youth, organizing and things like skills acquisitions.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking you're referring to vocational skills.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And I've also listened to Victor and your contribution.
Yes, sir. Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Once again, my name is Victor. Youth. I'm a youth, and I believe all we have said here are very, very accurate. We need to focus on how we can bring all of these persons together. But in doing this, like Dr. just said, our chief just said, we need to have a system, which I believe Doctor have started already. And some of it, the process has been shared with me. And the vision, I believe, by God's grace, we communicate it properly. And for that of the programs, I believe we can achieve that through the process of sensitizing the youth with programs, different programs. Like I'm into designing, I do web design and the rest. And also make event as event organizer. That's one of my job I do. So I worked with many youth, and I know that youth will not want to collaborate with any system that is not already functioning. They want to see before they are like Thomas. They can put their self in. So that's why I'm suggested to doctor that we should start the process. Let them see who started the process with, so that they can keep up the line. That's what I communicated to the doctor. And then some of the vision doctor shared with, I also shared with some of my co-youth to see how we can collaborate together. But the response I got from, I beg, how much they won't pay me? Money, that's what every youth wants to hear. They want to see a platform where money coming, and they go pay us. How much we will get from there? Nobody wants to learn a skill because we have been so, how would I put it in English? As in, we have put back in terms of knowledge. We don't want to go for knowledge again. We don't want to look for ways to see how we can improve ourselves morally and intellectually. All we want is money, money, money. So our youth these days is more focused on money. And many of the institutes we are seeing today, the programs they are coming out with is money-oriented programs. They want to tell you, okay, come, let's do this thing. So at the end, you make 30,000 naira from it. You make 50,000 naira from it. That is what youth want to hear. They don't want to hear programs that want to educate them on how to make some daily stuff for themselves, how they can become skilled. They don't want to hear such. All they want to hear is, okay, Alpha, money will come out from inside. That is what they want to hear. So that was I was saying that, okay, for us to start this process, we have to have something on ground that they can look up to. Okay, if I come into this line, okay, at the end, what will I be benefiting? What will be my benefit? Well, I say, okay, we want to host a program. Okay, come, we'll teach you how to make this thing. After teaching them, should they go back? Are we going to empower them? Where are our source of income? How are we gathering our finances? How are we going to empower them after the training? Is it just to train them and let them go back to their various destinations? We have to think on that too, because some will want to come for the skill acquisition, but after the skill acquisition, because government have been doing that over time, but still, we still have many of the youths on the street, because after learning the trade, they go back home with nothing. It's just the head brain knowledge. And some of them, maybe 1, 2, 3 years, the skill will die off their hands. They can't use them for anything. So for me, I'm suggesting that we look at how we can get this thing running, and on the long run, we get the youth involved, so that when they come in, they will see a platform where they can start from, not that we are starting with them. So that is for me, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thanks. I think you've made some good points. Well, all your points are good. You've made excellent points. But the thing is that the youth needs to understand that everywhere in the world, you have to work hard to be able to achieve success. Success is not given to you on a platform of good. Even in this country, even in this country where we are, the system is not as harsh as it is back in Nigeria, but still, what we have to do is to motivate them, provide them the tools that will enable them to fish. Our role is to teach them how to fish, and not to give them fish. If we need to be able to assist them to break away from the mentality that manna will fall from heaven, it doesn't work like that. And I appreciate what you are saying, that some of the entrepreneurial programs or the skills development programs that government and politicians have rolled out have not achieved the goals that were originally set. But having said that, often the youth also go to some of these programs with a mindset that I'm going to make money from it, rather than I'm going to gain knowledge, gain an experience on how to do certain things. There are so many opportunities around us in Nigeria, or with us in Nigeria. Sometimes people don't just know how to tap into it, and that's the essence of some of the programs we're trying to put together for the youth. But if the youth can come up and say, okay, rather than us becoming too prescriptive, telling them what to do, if they can come up and say, well, we would rather have us or help us develop in this particular area, we will look at it and see what we can do. Sometimes what it takes is just for people to know that you could do certain things for very small amount of money, and you can become entrepreneurial. You can employ yourself. You can engage yourself. You can become consultants. But you have to teach them how these things can be done. And that's why people who have done it before have the opportunity to mentor those who are aspiring to leadership and to other aspects. The truth of the matter is that from what I'm seeing in Nigeria, the idea of you go to university, come out, you get a job is becoming very, very difficult to realize. So when you go to university, you go to this higher institution, you've got the foundation level, you need to think about how to apply those knowledge and areas in which you can engage yourself and to become economically productive, both to yourself and the society. The mentality of our young people saying, is money going to be given there? It comes down to the same thing that, we give you money, and because your heart and mind is not in it, you are just there to feed yourself for that particular day. You're back to where you are after you've spent that sort of money that's given to you. So we want to build an ecosystem where if we support first few people, those few people then go out. After a while, they can use those skills and use their experience to lift up other people as well. Now, I recognize what the chief has said about building system. I'm sure the chief will agree with me that Bendel Federation was not started today. This is something we started since around 2014. We had a system. We had few people in place. Unfortunately, from my experience working with our people these days, is that you need to get something started. A lot of people are not interested in startup. However small it is, when they see that there is success, you find that over time they want to identify with it.
Yeah.
We kind of step backward because we have another sister body who we thought were going to help us achieve similar things that we're trying to do. But as we speak, that realization seems a little bit far-fetched. So that's why we're coming in now with different platform. We're thinking about different things to do, different set of activities. Once we start one particular activities and that activity is set funding, or we are able to initially mobilize the activities to go on, you will find that whether money is coming in or not, you might find that what we try to do will be generating the funds. The television can be funding other things that we set out to do. So that's the way I see it going forward. But the ideas are good. So what I will advise you, Victor, to do is for you to be able to identify the needs of the youth. I have some in my head. I can think of some, but I don't want to be dogmatic about this or to be prescriptive and say, okay, well, I think that's what you need. That's what you need. You might find that a lot of people might not subscribe to those views. I'm quite keen on how we can use digital media to engage our youth, how our youth can leverage digital media, or what they call digital entrepreneurship, you know, and to be able to develop themselves. My heart bleeds when I go to Facebook, I see WhatsApp, I see all these different platforms, Instagram, people are just sharing photographs without realizing that what they have in their hands, if properly managed, can become something that will provide a road towards full employment. So the whole idea is we can use this we can organize seminars around those sort of areas so that people can start to think outside the box and start to think about how they can engage themselves, apply the skills they've already got, apply the knowledge they've already got to be able to move forward. That's the way I'm thinking at the moment. In terms of the structures and systems, the reason why I thought that it would be nice to engage traditional rulers was because I thought they are opinion leaders in their particular area. They will be able to influence people to buy into our ideas. For example, when I spoke to the OV of Agbaroto, I was supposed to meet him this evening in London as well, but I don't think I'll be able to make it. It was 8 o'clock, the meeting. We rubbed mind on all sort of issues in terms of some of the things he's doing, which also center on the computer skills, dealing with international bodies, some government in Europe, which I don't want to measure at the moment. I don't want to mention those names at the moment. But things like that, we can look at how we partner with those sort of institutions, and so that we can bring about some sort of change within our society, and our youth can begin to apply the skills and the knowledge they've acquired. When I was in Nigeria years ago, I was thinking outside the box. I was generating money outside my normal employment because I was able to apply myself and my thinking. Last time I was in Nigeria, I saw a group of graduates roaming about the streets. I started engaging them. I said, but do you know you can go to, for example, some of these building sites and offer to supply them certain things that they probably don't know? And I was able to engage 1 or 2 persons who have never done these POP and all that before, but because they know somebody that does it, they were able to go from one building site to the other, securing contract. And over a short period of time, they were regarded as contractors, and they were making money in their own right. You know, we need to be able to speak to our youth so that they think outside the box. I think that's what we need when it comes to those sort of areas. But first and foremost, in terms of the skills, we also need to identify skills that we can support. There are certain skills that we cannot support due to resource constraint, but the ones that we can support, yes, by all means, we support them.
Okay.
Right. Any other views? Because, like I said, this meeting was meant to be very brief.
Doctor, I think we are just sort of, although you said, it's inaugural short meeting. However, it should be a stepping stone for subsequent meetings. Let's not focus on any demography or any group of people. Let us create the system. Now, Victor, I beg your pardon. Victor has highlighted a requirement, or if you like, let's call it a problem, that the youths are interested in what they can get out of it. We can design a system that will checkmate that easily. We look at all what's viable, what's feasible. How do we overcome this young man, getting him out of things? But quite frankly, they are actually right, the youths, because every project is supposed to have a budget. So you don't drag a young man into a project that he will not benefit. Well, let's not use the word benefit, but they are beneficiaries anyway. But he has to benefit because he's got to pay rent, he's got to look after himself, and all the bits, transport and all that. So he needs money to overcome all of that. So you don't drag him into a project and expect him not to get something out of it, But my emphasis is, let us create the system. A system is created from requirements. What do we need? What are the needs? What's the vision? What's the mission? What are the objectives? So from there, we look at all those requirements and we look at possible solutions. If the solutions are not effective at that point in time, we optimize them. So if you take a car for an example, a car is designed to mobilize you from A to B. Yes, the first car that was designed, I can tell you that is nowhere near the 2022 model of the first Mercedes, for instance, that was designed. Yes, is nowhere near the 2022 model Mercedes. This is because there's gradual optimization of the system. So if we put these things on paper, write them down, write all these requirements, write all these issues down, and then we start articulating how to find solutions to them, then we can build this system. If it's not working in 6 months' time, we'll have a look at it again and say, okay, this is not working because this and this and that. Okay, we'll optimize it, you improve on it, So that's what I think. Bendel television is an avenue for us to achieve a lot.
Okay.
The media is so powerful. If you can develop a media where you can disseminate information to people, you look at CNN. CNN is just a media, but the whole world looks up to CNN for information. What is happening? Oh, CNN has not said this, so it's not true because CNN has not said. That's how powerful that system is. So that's the way I think we should look at this project, rather than trying to focus on skills development. Look, skills development is not a Nigerian thing. I'll tell you why. I was taught that 2 volumes of hydrogen plus 1 volume of oxygen gives me water. Have I ever tried it as a human being to find out 1 volume, 2 volume of hydrogen, mix it with 1 volume of oxygen and get water? But Nigerians don't do that. If you teach them mathematics, x squared is equal to this minus y squared, they will say, what's all this? The application of these theories, Nigerians don't want to know. These are the issues I think we should be addressing. We use this Bendel television to touch their heart, to tell them that the physics you learned in school, are you expecting a God or one magician to come and that principle in physics that you learn, you are expecting one magician to come and show you how to use it? You have been told. If you mix water plus this, you get that. Why are you not doing it? I think if we develop this system, we'll have areas where we can be touching traditional rulers, politicians, the undergraduates, the graduates, the primary school, all sort of, we have this. So I think we should focus more on developing that particular system, which we can always optimize,
Right.
So,
I know you've used the word system. When you say system, what exactly do you mean?
A car, for instance, is a system. The objective of a car is to move from A to B. But if you look at the car, it's not the mobility of the car is not just the wheels. It's not just the engine. It's not just the windshield. It's not just the wipers. It's not just the bumper. It's not just it's all of these things together that makes
working
up
together. Yeah.
Yes, a house is a system.
Right.
If you build and you don't have roofs, you can't say you have a system.
Okay, in respect to what we're trying to achieve.
Bendel television. Yes, with Bendel television, we now create that system where, for instance, this will happen at so and so time. Who we want to, because quite frankly, we are talking about the youths, because Madam actually focused more on the youths. And he said transfer of skills. Unfortunately, you don't transfer skills. Skills can never be transferred. That's a misnomer in Nigeria. Skills are never transferred. You are taught skills. And you, the student, you go and be practical about the skills you have learned. We can, in that Bendel television system, have people who will be talking about these things, driving it into the hearts and mind of these young chaps, and your program, this your program is fantastic for Bendel television, so such things, I think that's how we can, you see, look, Bendel television is easy to design, you and I can sit down and come up with a proposal for that system. For everything is a system. That's why I like using the word system.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you are saying now is that we go back to the drawing board. I thought that was the idea when I said in fact, this meeting was supposed to be to develop content originally. And
Doctor,
if we are
hello, Doctor.
Yes.
Once again, I want to speak on Bendel television.
Okay.
I know this will be a medium of every program we are set to carry out.
That's
is it Victor? Victor was talking about money. If you don't train and they keep giving you, and you are eating this money, you don't have anything tangible to hold on to, you will keep going back to crime. That is the problem. That is where they have lost it. So I want to say that he was saying that skill acquisition, you don't train people. If you don't train people, how will you become a trainer? You are giving money. Oh, sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
So for him to say that they are just looking for money and they should be empowered. Empowerment is good. Now, when the money is given to you, what are you going to do with it? What business, what plan do you have for this money? You are giving money, the money will just go like that. And at the end of the day, they will still come back to you. They say train a man and you train the whole nation. So if you have no skill and you are not trained in any of the skill, now what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with this money that will be given to you? So I don't know when they are talking about skills. He says skills are not important. They should just bring money and give to them. It's a waste. For me, it's a waste. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay.
I share.
Can
I
I
share
just,
those views.
Doctor, wait? Can I
Yeah.
just jump in a bit from? I mean, moving from what Madam has just said. Yeah. The development of skills is good, but it's what you do with the skills that is the problem. If you have been trained, like Victor rightly said, you're trained and you
Yeah.
developed a skill, and you have nothing to do with the skill, that skill will gradually, in 6 months, 1 year down the line, it will wean out of you, it will go away. You know, this is the problem Victor is saying. Look, the problem we are trying to address here is a huge problem, probably bigger than us. It's a national problem, because this problem is not typical of Bendelites
Hello.
alone.
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
the problem is not
That is
typical of
when after being trained, that is when the empowerment will come in.
No,
You
no, no.
don't just
Wait,
give somebody.
I'm coming, madam. I'm coming, because the word empowerment is wrongly used in Nigeria. Their meaning of empowerment is to give them money.
To give money, that's what they are saying.
That's not what empowerment is. It's a wrong use of the word.
Okay.
Yes, to empower people is to give them the skill and knowledge to be able to do. That is what empowerment should be, but they have misused that word so much in Nigeria. So that anytime I hear the word from Nigerians, I know what they're expecting. They are expecting money. You know? Yeah. But which is not the case. If we have Bendel television, we'll be able to touch them and tell them that empowerment is truly not having money in your pocket.
Yeah.
What makes
We have
you
to be serious. We have to be serious.
What makes you what's the word now? What makes you important, or is not what you have, it's what you become that makes you
Yeah.
valuable. You know,
Yes.
if you are looking at
Yes.
what you have may not make you valuable. It's what you become. Imagine if you become a doctor today, a medical doctor in your community, you will save lives. Everyone will be
Yes.
running to you. You become valuable. It's not you have so much money in your pocket and your whole community is dying
It's
from ordinary mosquito bite. One mosquito bites you, you are dead. Another one bites you, you are dead. Imagine if you become a doctor in that community and you are saving life. You become valuable. So this is the kind of message Bendel
yes.
Television should be addressing, talking to these youngsters. You know, the kind of message they should be passing to these young children. You know, not their silly empowerment and all this rubbish. You know, so for me, that's my take on this matter. I think we should sit down, like Doctor said, go back to the drawing board, come up with this system, and then we start throwing it out. You know.
Okay. The interesting thing here is that maybe now we're getting new impetus into these movement or organization. What I found in the past is that you bring out some of these ideas or this discussion on our platform, a lot of people don't contribute. So how do we move from where we are now to where we want to be?
Doctor, that's an easy question. You have answered the question in your previous in a previous statement you made.
Yes.
People like to associate with success. Yes. So
Yeah.
and that's natural. I don't fault anybody for that. Because in a team, there are all kinds of people in a team. You have an ordinary team member, you have the motivator, you have all the different, I think there are about 13 or so different members of a team, So they all play their particular roles in the team. So I don't fault, and if someone you are the team leader and you're working your ass, sorry, excuse my French, you're working yourselves up to get a system going, don't feel let down because others are not joining in. They will come, when the system kicks off and is going in a direction and they will all join, So for me, I think we should focus on Bendel Television for now because the media is very powerful. When Mark
Oh.
Zuckerberg started Facebook, he didn't know where he was going. He thought he was just sharing photos with his friends. But look at that system today. What it has done to the world. You know? So I think we should focus on developing that system that will help our people, you know, not just the youngsters alone. You know, help the.
You are right. You are right.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
fine. Can I advise, therefore, that we have a Bendel Television WhatsApp platform? I don't know. I don't think both of you are there already. I don't think you both of you are there now because we're just putting it together. I'll add both of you there. Then we can then start to articulate. We can start to articulate the content for that program, that television. We can look at both short-term, medium-term, and long-term programs and things we can do to get things going, and gradually build it up to a stage where it becomes a household name. But again, I started by asking people to develop content because that's the way most of these media houses, that's the way it plays out. So if we have different content targeting different audience, or perhaps one broad content that can cross across different demographics, so it can become very, very useful. So we will go back to, we will open that up, the Bendel TV, and see, to start rubbing mind on what we should do to move it to the next level and gradually build it up, bottom up, and see how we can entice or attract the right demography of people and stakeholders to come in. We put something together for the Bendel Television, a sort of a little plan. And at the same time, I also want everybody to chip in terms of which sort of area do you think we should focus on with Bendel Television. I'm quite keen on although unfortunately with what is happening, what just happened in Edo State yesterday and other places, it's quite discouraging. But I'm also very keen to see how we can develop our tourism assets and using television platform to encourage people to take advantage of our tourism assets in terms of either we are visiting or we are seeing places, either we are doing cultural tourism, eco-tourism, whatever tourism that there is. I know that sort of area will be difficult to promote now in Nigeria because of the insecurity that is very pervasive in across all nooks and crannies. But that's one area that I thought we can look at. The other area Victor mentioned was for us to be speaking to personalities and to help them, engage them so that they can rub mind with us on how we can address issues that affect society in general. We can also zero them to very small areas, you know, and then we can get that going very quickly. We work with those, but if there are other things that other ideas that we have to move that particular platform forward, I'm quite happy that we share it together, we work on them, and we take it to the next level. Is Victor still there?
Yes, I'm still here, sir.
Okay. Any take on what was just been discussed so far before we round up?
Yes. Let me add to the one I said before. For that of the TV, Bendel Television, we could host other media persons and prominent persons in terms of career. We can bring them in for them to share their view, how they become, they take on the role of success. So how they become successful. We interview them, get their view to motivate other youth. That is not just only on dubious means that you can get rich. That you can actually succeed without involving yourself into crime. So things like that, and other seminars for children. Like I myself, I'm a member of Yaga. I work with Yaga.
Victor, This is the thing. I don't think you are thinking systemic. You are not systemic yet.
Okay.
Because you are mentioning interviewing somebody who is made. If you are made, you should write a book.
No, to motivate.
I'm coming. It's not you. It's not you. I'm not sorry. I'm not addressing you. But I'm just saying what we need to do with the TV is to address people, to make them, to teach them that if you are successful, write a book, compile a journal and convert it to a book that the future generations can read.
Okay.
In England, where we are, every prominent person has written a book about their success. Even Prime Minister Tony Blair has several books. David Beckham, the footballer, has books. There's one cook here. It's called Oliver, whatever his name is. He has books. So if you are successful, we should teach Nigerians that if you are successful or you have been, people see you as successful, you should write a book, not just the interview. The interview should be, just an add-on to help the generation, because this generation we're talking about, they desperately need their brains developed.
That's true, sir.
What we are seeing from them is the lack of development in their brains.
I think it comes down to your boss saying similar thing. I understand what you're saying. That's why I said we can look at different content. What I mean by different content, different programs. And each of these programs, we can see how we tie them together.
Sorry, is Victor in that group?
Is he here?
Is Victor in that group? Yeah, please, I'd like to be in the group so we can share ideas together, yeah?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. It's a man on the ground, so
yeah,
he has quite a bit of information and things that will help us in the development of all these things.
Okay. Yeah. That's fantastic. So what I will do in that particular group, we will start articulating ideas, and we will look at those things that we can do within a very short time, again, to motivate the young people who are involved with us on ground. And obviously, we're going to come around that skills development, even if it's just awareness of opportunities that are out there and how to tap into those opportunities. We can also look at, for example, what Chief has just said, road to success. How do people become successful? What are things they've done? And what are things that the young people can do? When I go home, I see a lot of opportunities around everywhere. I keep saying to our people, each time I go home, although some of them may not want to do those sort of things, but in Nigeria, with a small amount of money, you can start yourself up in business, provided you are not lazy. It's just unfortunate that a lot of people feel that they need to be rich overnight. To use Nigeria slang, they want to blow overnight.
Blow.
And it doesn't work like that. Rome was never made in a day. It's a gradual process. But I also take the views that is espoused by Martina, that yes, we need some sort of training. Training do not necessarily mean you are going to classroom. Training may just be showing people the ropes of a particular vocation. I may, for example, want to train people on television presenting, for example, and with a view that when they go out, they'll be able to go and interview some people or make some short programs, which they can upload to YouTube, upload to a different platform, build up an audience. And if those programs are enticing and stimulating enough, you might find that there are any residual income through YouTube monetization, for example, and other platform monetization. So there are little things they can do. The good thing with the young people these days is that they are growing up in a technology era. They didn't grow up like in my era where we were using 4-figure tables. They have all this system in place. They have all these gadgets in place. but how do they make most of it and leverage it to be able to excel in life and become part of the productive society? So we will be looking at those issues. What I would advise is that let's just brainstorm on the platform in terms of the area to go. And once we've identified all possibilities, then we can then narrow it down to what we can do straight away, what we can do in the short to medium term, what we can do long term, and look at those things that we can do very, very quickly, to create momentum, to build a brand so that everybody know who we are and be able to move to the next stage. We can even do TV programming for main station, for example. So everything depends on how we look at them. I had a call this morning from a young man who is also on the platform. Incidentally, he's not here. I'm a bit disappointed. But it comes down to what he was saying. Yes, I have content. How much are you paying for the content? I said, but you need to send me the synopsis of the content. I need to know what the content is about. I cannot just tell you I'm going to pay you X amount of money for what I have not seen. And up to now, he has not come back to me. So we need to be able to work on this sort of lazy mentality and get people to start thinking seriously how they can move themselves forward. All right, my fellow Bendelites, unless there are other things that we want to discuss now, I'd like to bring this meeting to a close.
Okay.
Are there other things that you think we should look at? Or I know the system that the chief has spoken about, we can look at them and see how we can systemize the Bendel television being the first platform that we try to run. And for example, I have a young man in my office here that can help us. When he comes on Monday, I'll tell him to prioritize that. He's working with us on all this digital platform, so he can create a digital platform where we can link both a website, link it to various social media platform, and so that we can start to do some sort of small programming.
Yes.
That probably will require you talking to a few people or getting a few people involved, enticing the young people, and so that we kind of create a buzz around everything that we are doing. And I will also encourage everyone to please engage us on the WhatsApp, because that's a platform that avails us the opportunity to be able to articulate our views and bounce off ideas so that we can all decide on what we're going to do and how we're going to do them. Right. Is there anything that anybody want to say before we wrap up?
No, not from me.
Some other time. So.
All right. I want to thank you all for joining us, and hopefully we should be able to take this to the next level. If it is okay with everyone, can I share this meeting recording on our platform?
Doctor, I hope you are using the word platform correctly, because I'm struggling with it when I hear platform.
Okay, when I say platform, I'm talking about the Bendel.
No, okay, that's what I'm trying to say. WhatsApp is a platform, but within the platform, you have groups.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's why WhatsApp does not say you can't build a platform on another platform.
No.
You have groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's say group within our group. Yes, if
yes,
that's what
okay.
But
what
if we want to be very technical about it?
No, we should be. This is the problem we have in Nigeria.
Okay.
The lack of technicalities.
All right. All right. Stand corrected on our groups. Once more, thank you everyone for coming, and I wish you a pleasant weekend ahead.
You too, sir.
All right then. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Okay then. Bye bye.
Bye all. Bye everyone.
Bye bye. Okay then.